G'day guys, welcome back to No Man's Sky. Behind me here is the Wraith, which was the main reward from completing the new Titan expedition. So in this video, I'll quickly go through the upgrades and stats, and take her for a spin, and we'll check out how she flies. Then it's time to test her in combat with the Sentinels, and we'll see how it goes. As always, thanks very much for watching. Please consider giving the video a like if you enjoy the content, and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see more. So let's get into it. First up, the Supercharged Slot arrangement is actually pretty good. You can group 3 together either horizontally or vertically and still get all your adjacency bonuses. I personally like this arrangement as I like to use one Supercharged Slot for the pulse drive just to boost speed and agility a little. Now I did open a lot of eggs to find the best upgrade stats that I could, and these stats could be improved by a little, but not by much I don't think. Of course, if you use the Supercharged Slots differently, you could get better results in the area you prefer. But I'm mainly interested in the combat for this video, so this is what I'll use for the Sentinel battle. As far as the stats go, with the 2 weapons it comes with fitted, a base damage of 410 is pretty good. Shields are just average though, at 308. The hyperdrive range is pretty good at over 1700, but I gotta admit the maneuverability stat was a little disappointing at 877, especially as I used one Supercharged Slot. But while we're on the stats, I did check it against one of my other fully upgraded living ships that also has a 3+1 Supercharged Slot setup for its weapons. And here's the side by side so you can see the difference. All in all, the Wraith is a little bit better than my best living ship, but I'm sure some people do have better. It's definitely not an OP ship by any means. But it could be the worst in my fleet and I'd still use it. I just really like the look of this one. As far as damage output goes, all of the following numbers are using the 3 Supercharged Slots and adjacency as you've seen. So if you have your enemy strength set to challenging, expect around 15,000 damage per second. If the enemy strength is set to standard, you'll get around 23,000 DPS. And if you play with the enemy strength set to weak, you'll get around 57,000 damage per second. Now set your enemy strength however you like for your own gameplay, but I personally much prefer the challenging setting, and this is what I'll use for the battle. I play most of my No Man's Sky in VR, and as far as the cockpit view goes, it's not too bad. Not too different from the standard living ships. As for flying, I'll be honest and say I'm a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, it does handle well enough and it is a fun ship to fly, but it is slow. 240 units per second under full boost is nothing to write home about. And it does tend to slow down even further in tight corners. But in a nutshell, it pretty much flies like all the other living ships. So let's get into some combat. I just want to mention I'm doing this combat on my main save, simply because I didn't have enough upgrades for the living ships on the save I usually use. This means I have my squadron pilots with me, but most of the time, as you'll see, they just get in the way. I do like having them though. It makes space battles a little more immersive for me with more ships flying around. And it makes it a lot more challenging trying not to hit your own ships. But anyway, phase 1 and it's just the one Sentinel ship as normal. Pretty easy to defeat, no worries. Again, just one ship for phase 2, and it's really just target practice at this point. Phase 3 and we have 2 Sentinel ships after us. So far the Wraith feels pretty good in combat and its agility is better than I expected. The weapons seem to have no issue tearing through a Sentinel, and it doesn't take much effort to deal with these 2 interceptors. Phase 4 we have 3 Sentinel interceptors, and this phase was fun. And you can see here why I like having a squadron on my main save. There's just ships flying around everywhere, and you need to be careful with your aim. Getting into space battles is one of my favourite parts of No Man's Sky. My only wish was that we had more of them at higher degrees of difficulty. Maybe something like 10 phases with 10 ships to battle with at the end. But as you can see for yourself, the Wraith needed less than 60 seconds to dispatch the 3 Sentinel ships. Now, final phase with the Sentinel capital ship. First thing is to get under its shields and destroy its weapons and shield generators. This is always a good test of your shields, at least for me anyway. I get a beating here from the Sentinel cannons as I make my way down this side of the ship, and it's time to recharge my shields. Still got a couple more cannons to deal with that I missed, and again I need to recharge my shields. As I said, shields aren't fantastic with living ships, but it's still easy enough to manage them throughout a Sentinel battle. Now the capital ship is defenseless, it's time to send them back to the Atlas. You can see the weapons get through the ship's hull a lot quicker than the Iron Vultures did, and in no time, it's all over. So overall, the Wraith does pretty well in all aspects of gameplay. The only exception, as I said earlier, is a lack of speed. But you could fix this a little if you use some more of the supercharged slots for the pulse drive instead of weapons. But at least for me, No Man's Sky is all about the journey, not the destination. And I for one love this new ship, and I'd recommend giving the expedition a go while it's on and getting a Wraith for yourself. I do have a step-by-step guide here on my channel, aimed at helping all you newer players get through the Titan expedition easily, so feel free to check that out if you wish. As always, I just want to say thanks heaps for watching, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the vid, please remember to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more No Man's Sky content. Cheers guys, hope you have a good one exploring the universe.